Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you are having a fabulous one out there. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. There are 1,001 places you could have been and you could have clicked, but today you clicked on this video. So thank you so much for stopping in and stopping by. Today, we're going to listen to Neutral Milk Hotel. We're going to listen to the first two tracks off of their album, In the Airplane Over the Sea, released in 1998. Why we're listening to this? Because this is an album I've always heard about. This is an album cover I have seen ad nauseum from I don't even know when, but for so long I've seen this popping up on the internet and I've never actually listened to them. And as a matter of fact, I literally just remembered the band right now and I said, oh yeah, I should probably give it a listen. And what better place to do so than right here with you guys. So we're going to listen to the first two tracks, The King of Carrot Flowers Part 1, and that's going to also be the second track, The King of Carrot Flowers Parts 2 and 3. May as well just do them all together. It seems to make sense. Did I mention that this is their second and final studio album released in 1998? If I didn't, I did now. This was not necessarily recommended or suggested by anyone. Like I said, I literally just remembered this album. And I said, oh yeah, I haven't listened to anything from it. I don't know anything about this band. And so we're going to go ahead and do so now. So let's do that. Let's listen to the first two tracks. I suppose depending on how it goes, I'll probably just let them lead from one into the other, as it seems to make the most sense. That's it. Here we go.
When you were young, you were the king of carrot flowers, and how you built a tower tumbling through the trees, in holy rattlesnakes that fell all around your feet. And your mom would stick a fork right into daddy's shoulder, and dad would throw the garbage all across the floor, as we would lay and learn what each other's bodies were for.
Is it hurdy-gurdy or accordion?
And this is the room one afternoon I knew I would love you, and from above you how I sank into your soul, into that secret place where no one dares to go. And your mom would drink until she was no longer speaking, and dad would dream of all the different ways to die, each one a little more than he could dare to try.
It's kind of cool. Sounds like a continuum, that instrument there. Let's see where it goes.
I love you, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, I love you, yes I do.
I like that drone with the banjo playing on top.
I love you, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, I love you, yes I do. And on the lazy days, the dogs dissolve and drain away. The world that goes and always waits the day we are
Very crunchy, kind of lo-fi guitar there. Smashed up. Yeah. Okay.
Up and over we go through the wave and undertow. I will float until I learn how to swim inside my mother in a garbage bin until I find myself again. Up and over we go, mouths open wide and spilling snow. I will spit until I learn how to speak. Through the door in the sideboard street, with them ever proclaiming mine, mine. Up and over we go, the way to set stone down, and I don't know. I will shout until they know what I mean. I mean the lyrics of a dead dog sing, and a synthetic blind shine, shine.
That is so distorted.
Okay.
So this may be one of those albums where every song kind of leads in some capacity into the next one. Okay. I don't know what I was expecting, but this was in a same place as I was expecting. I was kind of expecting something folky from the album cover. And yes, we definitely got some of that. But what I didn't expect was actually a lot of it. The first track kind of sets what I would expect. It is a little bit folky. I think the singing has kind of that indie slacker rock kind of feel with the looseness in which he sings. He sings here kind of like whatever his name is from, oh my God, Crane's wife, Decemberist. It's kind of in that same lane, I'd put, at least based off of these first two tracks. Technically, I suppose one track with Neutral Milk Hotel. But the first one, coming in only 2 minutes, is much more simple, right? Let me pull it up here really quick again. Simple acoustic. You have what I thought was either hurdy-gurdy or accordion, but it is turning out to be accordion being played right behind it. That's going to be performed by Julian Coster. And by the way, speaking of that, I always have the personnel list up here. All of them are handling quite a few instruments. Some of them are very interesting. Like, for example, at the end, let me see of part one. Here, that little pitchy waving in and out, which kind of acts as that melody, I'm pretty sure is actually going to be Jeff Magnum, who's also lead singer, performing or at least using and utilizing shortwave radio. Like he's playing with those lines, the sine, saw, and square, those kind of synth lines and such. I think he's just turning knobs and using that to perform that sound at the back there, which is, I think, kind of creative, not only in the obvious way, but to also use that to create notes, create that melody at the very end. Ba, along with his sustained voice, of course. Da, 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 da. I'm off, but I think that was really cool. And so the first track, I'm like, okay, this is an introductory kind of indie folk kind of sound that we get. Cool, makes sense, fits in with the album cover. Then the drums, the guitar, oh God, the monstrous growl and buzziness and distortion of the guitar, like that and the drums are very underproduced. And I would imagine purposely how underproduced they are. And I think that leads to this just raw, incredibly powerful and punchy sound here. I thought the banjo being played over this drone was also really cool as he's kind of crying out. But once the drums and the guitar come in, they have such this like distant and distorted sound, which is adding a completely different layer and texture. It adds this kind of hazy, chillingly psychedelic kind of feel to the music at that point, which kind of adds, and I would say performs this kind of maddening embodiment. Like it just has this kind of weird atmosphere with, as he's singing, about Jesus Christ over here, he's crying out in a certain way, and then this distortion comes in, and it kind of creates this maddening circusry. that I think is really cool. Like this atmosphere they create. The flugelhorn comes in at that point. That's going to be performed by Scott Spillane, who's also handling trumpet, trombone, euphonium. Like there's a lot of different instruments that are appearing throughout this album. And then it just rocks out.
Go through the wave and undertow. I will float until I learn how to swim.
Like you can, that sounds like their amps on stage would be frying. That sounds like you could see the sparks flying out of their amps. You could see the smoke begin to appear. I think that's really cool how they bring in that atmosphere, completely different from the first track, and yet it's all connected very well. And then, of course, it ends in a nice quiet way of this static before it eventually is leading into the next track, which is the title track of the album. This is interesting because, like I said, the first part, I would have kind of expected that just looking at the album cover. The second part kind of caught me off guard. Let's pull up the lyrics here. We will discuss those. All right, let's see. Which, by the way, there's a lot in the lyrics, huh? When you were young, you were the king of carrot flowers, and how you built a tower tumbling through the trees. And holy rattlesnakes that fell all around your feet. And your mom would stick a fork right in Daddy's shoulder, and Dad would throw the garbage all across the floor as we would lay and learn what each other's bodies were for. And this is the room one afternoon I knew I could love you, and from above you, how I sank into your soul. Into that secret place where no one dares to go, and your mom would drink until she'd no longer speak, and Dad would dream of all the different ways to die, and each one a little more than he could dare to try. So I love that last line. Basically, you get adolescence, you get some trauma. You know, obviously the parents are not. They're having their own abusive relationship with one another, and amongst the trauma and the different things that these two adolescents have to deal with, I mean, they're just they're learning about each other.
Oh my.
Right?
Oh my.
So in this tragedy, in this chaos of their upbringing, these two are finding solace and love within one another. You know? That's nice. Next, the King of Carrot Flowers, Part 2. I love you, Jesus Christ, I love you, etc., etc. And on the lazy days, the dogs dissolve and drain away. Like raining cats and dogs, so the dogs are dissolving and draining away, perhaps. The world it goes and away always waits, the day we are awaiting. Part 3. Up and over we go through the wave and undertow, once again in relation to the rain. I imagine that's what that is. I will float until I learn how to swim, someone called Pennywise, inside my mother in a garbage bin, until I find myself again. So, okay. Let me interpret. Do you think, in part 1, I'm just imagining they're probably teenagers or young adults here, right? They're with each other. Then maybe life is going on. Maybe he finds religion, and so maybe they draw away from each other, and then, you know, it's raining cats and dogs. The dogs dissolve and drain away. He loses part of himself. Then in part 3, still continuing on with life, just following time. But it kind of goes backwards. I will float until I learn to swim. Where? Inside my mother, in a garbage bin. I mean, his mother and father, for a matter of fact, from the previous track, don't seem to be the most of idyllic parents. So he says, you know, he's basically learning how to swim while floating inside of a garbage bin, or he did learn how to swim. He learned how to survive. He learned to adapt to situations. And this is how he finds himself. Up and over we go, mouth is open wide and spitting snow. I will spit until I learn to speak. Right? So first he has to float until he learns to swim. Now he has to spit until he learns to speak. He has to go through the conflict, the trouble, the bad, in order to learn and to progress into who he is and find himself. Up through the doorway as the sideboards creak, with them ever proclaiming me. Oh, up and over we go, the weight it sits on down, and I don't know. I will shout until they know what I mean. I mean the marriage of a dead dog sing, and a synthetic flying machine, which of course references the dog. Oh, again here. Oh, I begin to lose it a little bit on this one. But he does say, you know, he will shout until they know what I mean. He will shout until they understand him. Until he makes his voice heard, now that he can speak. Now that he can speak, he will shout. And he will shout until they understand. I'm putting it I'm taking the pieces and I'm trying to put them together. I think I kind of got something. I thought that was really cool, though. I enjoyed that. That was different than what I was expecting. It gave me a little of what I expected and then a lot of it of what I didn't. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, you can let me know those down there on the Buy Me a Coffee if you have a song or request that you would like me to listen to that you don't feel like risking me not finding it in the hundreds that I get a week. You can do so there, etc., etc. Press the like button and all that other stuff. Thank you for being here. Come back tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you all then. Bye, guys.